See, and that's how, it would work a whole lot better if I actually hit that too. There you go. See,
I figured that was part of your plan, was to not be recording audio until everything was set up.
you give me far too much credit. I was like, I had it all. We're like, okay, I'm gonna do it this way. We're good to go. And of course, I screwed that up. So I'm just that awesome at all of this that I've been doing for way too long. So, yeah.
That's probably what it is.
What do you mean? That's probably what it is.
It's probably what it is.
There are times when I don't know, like, I know you're not being insulting, but at the same time, I don't know if you're being insulting.
I think the problem is he genuinely means it, like, in a nice way, but like it just comes off insulting.
Yay.
And that doesn't help. That 100% doesn't help.
I believe in you, Stefan.
Dude.
At least one of us does.
Still.
Now, did you genuinely mean that?
Again, there are times when I seriously think, like, you could be the greatest sociopathic serial killer ever. I just don't know with you.
With Mason, it's like that episode of Gumball where Darwin somehow becomes like the leader of the world or whatever. He's just like the nicest person you can imagine, and he's just sitting there in like the Nazi overcoat, just kicking his legs like.
I've brought world order.
Perfect.
I remember that episode. It's a good episode.
Yes, there you go. Mason approves of cartoon Nazism.
That's not. It's not correct.
Utopic. There we go. Well, welcome to episode 170 of the Cracked Brain Podcast. I am your host, Stefan. Joining me today, we've got Tyler.
I'm right here, yes.
See, there we go. And then we also have Mason.
The Misunderstood. That's my title.
That's the moniker you're going with now?
I don't know what moniker means, but my title is The Misunderstood.
Okay.
All right, there we go. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Someone rip out Google Dictionary.
Yes. We've already figured out that, like, anything that you say, we could probably take over to Urban Dictionary, and guaranteed what you think a word means and what its Urban Dictionary meaning will be vastly different.
I don't like that website.
I do like that website.
Yeah, right.
Specifically for that purpose.
See? There you go. See, it's more about your education, Mason. We're here for you.
Is that what we're going to talk about? Urban Dictionary and education?
Specifically towards you, we could. All right.
I don't think those two should go together.
Well, they should.
they mix like oil and water.
That's not a thing. They don't mix.
I'll put it to everyone that this way. We just before we started rolling the cameras and whatnot, Mason knew nothing about Aqua Teen Hunger Force or Dr. Weird, so we just put on a compilation of Dr. Weird, and like your face through the entire thing was just like, huh? It was like
it's like utter confusion. He's just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Behold, corn.
More corn.
I did like that, actually. It grew on me. It took like a season, but it grew on me.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's those specific kind of like shorts that used to be over on Adult Swim. I miss them so much. It's like as the older generation and whatnot. Like, did you ever watch like Space Ghost Coast to Coast?
I did, yes.
See, this is the conversation is over here, and it's like I wish that you knew and whatnot, because like the Brax song, I know that means nothing. It's like, don't touch me.
You said sounds just barely that you strung together as a word.
See
that is how words are formed.
Mostly,
generally,
yes.
Yeah. I'm making guttural utterances of different noises, and somehow your brain actually assembles them and understands what I mean. The basis of language.
Yay.
Science.
Yeah.
Science. What has science done?
Right.
Yay.
My mind.
My banana.
So yeah, it's like just sort of seeing your reaction with that now makes it where like earlier this week over in like Discord and all that, we started talking about possibly having like a cracked brain movie night, and now I'm just sitting here like I really want this now to happen, and there are too many things that you just don't know.
I did know Encino Man though. I'm still proud of that.
You knew Encino Man and you knew Wayne's World, but like
I've never seen Wayne's World.
But he does know of it.
I know it exists.
Yeah, you know of it, and like the fact that you also like you don't know Major Payne, like Kindergarten Cop.
I've seen that one. Actually.
Oh my!
See,
It's not a tumor. I've seen that one. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Tommy Boy.
I've seen that one too.
See, okay, so you actually have.
But Black Sheep. Have you seen that one?
I have not.
Okay.
There are so many people that still haven't seen Black Sheep though. Which between the two, Black Sheep and Tommy Boy, I like Tommy Boy better because it has more moments. But there are some definite funny ones over in Black Sheep. Like my favorite is where the roof like flies off of the cabin, and then all of a sudden the hailstorm is coming on, and it's pelting Chris Farley over inside the head, and then all of a sudden David Spade is like, woo, woo, and then it collapses over on him. It's the sound that he makes. Like, ah!
Oh, I also knew. Was it Total Recall, the Mars one with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
So did you listen over to last week's episode?
I did not.
Yeah. So like during that episode, we actually talked about like what were the first round of movie boobs that you had seen and whatnot. So like mine was Tango and Cash. Brandon's was no, not Cocoon. I can't remember. His was somewhere right around over there, and his was Total Recall. So his first round of boobs were 3 boobs.
Yep.
Do anime boobs count?
Knowing that it's you, I'll allow it.
Then I'm gonna say mine was probably Akira.
That's right.
How far down this rabbit hole are we gonna go? If we're talking manga, it was Inuyasha.
There was boobs in
the manga of Inuyasha. Yeah. There's a frog demon who kidnaps a bunch of girls, and yes, I'm gonna end that conversation. I'm gonna end that thought.
See now,
you don't remember that? It was like very beginning.
I did not read the manga.
Oh well, never mind then.
See now, because there.
Hi.
Okay, when the correlation between Total Recall and Inuyasha, what ages were you at with either of those?
Total Recall was maybe 9th grade.
Okay.
And I think Inuyasha was probably 7th grade.
Okay, all right. Because for some reason inside my brain and whatnot, I was picturing little like 10-year-old Mason going and opening up Inuyasha and going like, and oh,
which
feelings.
Seventh grade.
I'm gonna take this home for later.
7th grade was 2008 or 2009 for me.
That was your 7th grade.
Yay.
I'm not gonna stay on this subject, but anyway.
If the world ever
I was gonna
agrees-
say my 7th grade I think was probably 10 years at least earlier.
Sounds about right. And I mean, I guess mine was probably like kind of right in between. I think like 6 years after you and whatnot. So it's age sucks.
Yeah.
Just think about boobs.
Once
They
you
will go
hit
away.
30, your body goes to shit. Like I do not recommend aging past 30.
Dude, okay, like no joke. I'm not sure how many people like actually as I hit the microphone, like how many people watching and whatnot have been able to see like my weight gain. I used to be able to like, okay, they're, flat, never gained a pound and whatnot. I hit 30 and all of a sudden like the bottom roll started forming. 31, my body's just stopped trying. It doesn't matter how many sit-ups and crunches I do. It just goes like, no, this is you now. We don't change. All right, so just stay right here.
Your body's telling you that you're a father. You need to get that dad bod in.
It really is. And like there's a new comedy special by Tom Papa. And it is like, look, everyone has various levels of fat. I'm fat, you're fat. All right, just embrace it. It's everyone that's trying to be skinny. They're weird and they're freaks. All right, but all of us, we're just different levels of fat. We're in different stages of fat. That's all aging is. And now I'm sitting there going like, haha, that was cool commentary. And now I'm going like, those are facts. It's like my body just is like, no, we're done. Like even so like earlier during this week I had a couple of on-screen auditions to go to, and like I still will put down like parkour and tumbling and stuff like that over on my skill sheet, and all of a sudden
and then when someone asks you to do it on camera, it's like The Office, where you're like just kind of tumbling over things, and then you're like parkour.
No, it for me it's one of those where like I can still do most of the stuff that that I learned and whatnot, but now it's when someone asks for it, there's the sigh, all right, gotta go and get for it. And then after I'm done, where I used to be able to walk off and be like, yeah, I just did that, I'm sitting there like, oh, all right, see there, I did it. Now I'm gonna go, where's Epsom salt? I'm gonna go hop in a bath.
Give me a minute.
Yeah. So now like my recovery time is I even had to tell some people that were like I'm getting cast as a choreographer, and I'm like, hey, so if we need to do any like high impact intense dancing and whatnot, just make sure I've got like at least 2 days to heal before the next time we shoot, because I'm like, no, my body isn't gonna want to move for a couple days.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So for me, it was on my birthday, since I deliver furniture for a living.
Yeah.
The last day, or the last delivery of the day, we delivered this, sofa and love. And she asked us to take away a sofa and a love, which are both leather, which are very heavy. Jesus. One of them was coming down from upstairs, and then she wanted us to move another love seat that's also leather from downstairs up to the upstairs. And it was like, oh, woman, this is too much.
Yeah.
So, and she didn't even tip, fucking bitch. So what I'm trying to say is tip your delivery guys.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those where it's like, look, if you're not gonna do it yourself, don't have the mentality as far as like, oh, they're paid enough. It's like, no, if someone's doing you an extra service, please tip them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was happy to take away the sofa, because it's like, okay, you don't want an old sofa, whatever. But like when you're asking us to basically move your whole house, it's too excessive.
Yeah, and I also realize that, as people might hear this that are not from the U.S., tipping is not, it's not a worldwide thing where like there's so many countries out over there that you just don't tip. You're just expected to go and do your job. Out over here, it's not necessarily that way. And I look at it in the realm of like, it's another way to show your appreciation for going a little bit outside of the norm. So when the requirements for a certain task are something, and then you ask someone to do something a little bit more, it should be that, okay, well, you show them a little bit more, consideration just by like, okay, here's a little bit more. And it doesn't need to be a lot. Like even getting a $2 tip, it's like, whatever, it's $2 that wasn't
that's $2 more than I would have had.
Yeah.
Well, and there are some jobs where you have to get tips, or else you're not going to be able to get minimum wage, basically. Like, you get paid minimum wage, but you can't survive without tips, depending on, like, hairstylists have to do that. I think waiters, too. Like,
Yeah.
there's a ton of jobs.
Waiters.
But yeah, so that heavy delivery, I was sore the next day.
Yeah.
It hurt to breathe. Like, it was that bad.
Yeah, like I remember seeing your messages over inside the Discord, which join the Crack Brain Discord. But yeah, it was something where I remember you sitting there going like, I hurt.
Yeah, I was like, all right, so Call Cast was late this morning. I was just trying to focus on staying alive last night because I hurt so bad.
I had seriously thought that it was more like you were nursing a hangover or something. I'm all like, are you okay?
No, I would have welcomed a hangover over that.
Yeah,
That's not a good sign.
it's like I said, it's getting older. All right, we're letting you know, Mason. Some people, they go like, oh, my 20s suck. 30s are a special kind of suck, man.
Oh, it's so bad too, because I honestly don't feel like I'm 33.
Right.
But like, my body says you're 33.
Yeah, it's the times of just like, I'm now looking at all these things of like, especially, just going like, okay, well, I could still try to go and do that, and then it's almost like I can hear a conversation with my body and my brain going like, let's not do this. Is it really worth it? No, it's not. I'm just telling you that right now. It's not. Yeah, so yeah, aging blows.
But at least I'm not to the point that Brandon is yet, where my joints just pop as I move.
Which, thank you for your donations. Brandon is in the proper medical treatment right now. That's why Tyler's here. That's why Tyler's with us here, because Brandon's getting knee face surgery.
A knee face surgery.
I didn't mean
now
to-
is he transplanting his knee to his face, or is he transplanting a face onto his knee, or is he like getting the knee sewn to the face? Like what kind of operation is that?
Face wasn't the word I meant to say. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, knee and what, Mason? Huh? Because you started with face, and now I'm afraid of where you might go, because the normals as far as like elbow and shoulder, there's no way those are happening.
You'll have to wait for the next episode. We're recording it.
Good God.
Yes, got away with it.
Sure. Sure.
I just love the idea. Random skins transplanted. Brand's got like a nose right on his knee.
So like one of the things that I kind of want to go and chat about today is actually something where it's a little bit of a kind of like a leftover that we didn't really get into last week, but just knowing that I got away with a doggone episode title that I did last week, and I did have a couple people message me going like, okay, what is with the title? Like, what is with the title of the episode? Like for me, it was personally just like, I wanted to see if I could get away with it, but you're the one that came up with beer in your booty hole.
Beer in your booty hole. You can get drunk from it and die.
No, you can't preface it like this. Like, you got to explain the story. Like, okay, like where did this come up for you? Because this is not something where you just wake up on a Saturday with the idea of like, I wonder where you can put beer. Hey, there's other places in your body. There's an opening.
There's an opening. Bad name. It started with it started with how people, like, I was curious how people figured out how to ingest certain drugs. Like, was there someone smoking a mango at one point, just being like, this isn't working? That's how it started. Like, I don't understand. Maybe it's because I don't fully understand, like, what drugs are exactly, but like, what would happen if you like took a needle of like alcohol to your veins?
I am just imagining Mason over here, like rolling up corn husks and being like, I wonder if I can get high on this.
Like, were there people who tried this? Were there people who tried to snort strawberries at one point? And like, this isn't doing anything for me. Just hurts.
Mason.
How
Hi, Tyler. Is there something you'd like to ask? The ongoing Mason.
how does snorting strawberries
Yes.
lead into beer in your booty hole?
Beer in your booty hole.
What's the thought process there?
Well, I don't even know if I can say this.
Well, see, like I'm really curious with Mason as far as like this whole line of thinking, as far as like, okay, you know, his explanation of like, okay, how did people just, you know, go and figure out drugs and whatnot, like snorting a strawberry and whatnot. Mason, do you know what the chief thing that drugs are supposed to achieve?
No, I don't. Also, do you know the difference between being drunk and being high?
Yes!
Is there a difference?
He's from California.
Is
course.
Is high just being drunk without liquid?
No.
Is that what the difference is?
No.
No. No.
All right.
Okay. You know what?
Education. Yay.
Mason explains a little bit.
Oh.
Okay. Thinking of what you may have seen, heard about, or whatnot, what would you think the experience of being high? Let's just go high on marijuana.
High on marijuana?
Yeah, like what do you think that, you know, that feels like, or, you know, anything like that?
I would imagine it would be like kind of hazy
Okay.
and like hard to think, hard to balance, like even just walk straight line. You'd get hungry a lot. But see, that's the thing, because I also think drunk is like that too. So I don't know like the exact differences.
Right. See,
But just kind of like laughing gas, but extreme. Because
I
I
mean,
have had laughing gas.
it's something where you're not necessarily far off, but you're also not close.
That's the title of my autobiography. You're
Not far, but not close.
Yeah. You're basically, you didn't move in any direction. You stayed in this, like, you gave a bunch of different things. Where I'm like, they're all the way over here. We're all the way over here. So you might as well just have gone straight.
You can have different symptoms based off how you ingest the marijuana, though, right? Like, isn't edibles different from smoking?
No. Well, yes, but no. Like, it's all about intensity. So, like, smoking it means it's, you know, it will get into your bloodstream, because that's the biggest thing with drugs is you're trying for it to hit your bloodstream, so that way your body can process it in, you know, in whatever way. So it's something where when you smoke it, goes in through your lungs, goes into your capillaries that are inside your lung, your like your nephrons, which go into your capillaries, and thus it gets into your bloodstream and starts like actually mixing and diluting your blood, and that sends, it basically jacks up signals as it travels towards your brain and whatnot.
You learned all that from Cells at Work, didn't you?
That's a show I was thinking about watching, actually.
I'm not gonna say no.
I was told I should watch that, and
It's
I was
a good
debating on doing it.
But anyways, back to the drugs.
You really should.
But like that's kind of where snorting strawberries came from.
No,
because like
no.
I would never think to breathe smoke.
Well, guess what?
Like I don't want to breathe.
I don't think anyone
has.
has thought of snorting strawberries.
Yes. Well,
No, just in like my thought process.
No,
of, like,
but like you realize that when most people like when things happen like that, it's not like someone looks over at a strawberry. They look over at like the marijuana plants or whatnot and go like, I wonder, I'm going to set those on fire. No, it's that something happens that makes it where like odds are they were already on fire because of whatever, like a brush fire or getting struck by lightning or someone just making fire too closely. It started to burn. That smoke got around, and then all of a sudden they're like how they were perceiving everything, like, oh, this is actually changing me. Okay, you know.
So there was like a pharmaceutical farm and lightning struck, is what you're saying, and just burned the...
No. I'm just saying, Mason, do you realize that it's not like, you know, it's not like that the marijuana plant was just never there, and then all of a sudden, like, the 20s happened, and then all of a sudden it just magically showed up because people went, I want something to smoke. Ah!
Perfect.
Yeah.
I was looking for this.
Yeah, it's like different strains of the cannabis plant have been around for the longest of time.
I guess that's true.
But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those where like smoking it is a little bit more diluted than eating it. Where eating it, the THC, which is what gets you high. Okay, so when in cannabis, there's THC and there's CBD. CBD.
There's going to be a test. Get your notebooks.
CBD is not psychoactive, so you can have
Define that.
Yeah, like you can have CBD and you won't get high. You'll have like an effect to your body where like for some people it will decrease inflammation or like it kind of just helps your
that's
mood.
the medical part.
Exactly.
When people say
Yeah.
it's medical,
Well,
it's the
it's like so that's one of the reasons why
CBD?
you can get CBD oil or and all that kind of stuff.
Oh.
So CBD is not psychoactive. THC, that is psychoactive. That's where everyone the sensation of being high comes from with marijuana and whatnot. So like with that, like you start getting a little bit tingly and a little bit like you get a numbness and a little bit warm. That's when you kind of know it's kind of taking effect a little bit. And then it's not always where you get giggly. Like there's different strains of it. Sometimes you actually get hyper focus and whatnot. So it's easier to kind of focus on things. It's not like
That's the
everything
high part?
leaves your brain. It's an effect off of being high.
Oh, okay.
But it's a different strain. That's where like different strains do different things. So some, yes, they get you giggly. Some make you incredibly hungry, more than just like, oh, okay, just generally snacky. And then there are some where like, no, it actually helps mental acuity and things like that. So like, like it'll even slow things down. Like one of the reasons why it's good for glaucoma is because it impedes inflammation and actually improves
I don't know
ocular
what
acuity.
glaucoma.
Yeah.
Guacamole coma. Glaucoma is
Guacamole coma.
Guacamole coma. Okay.
glaucoma.
Well, might have an episode title.
I see. Well, I had a friend who, he had not the disease. He couldn't sleep ever. What is that one called?
Like there's narcolepsy insomnia.
Insomnia. Yeah, but he was actually allergic to most medications, so smoking gosh dang it. He was getting marijuana from medical.
Injecting the marijuana really helped him sleep.
Smoking it through his booty hole helped him. Bad timing. I'm sorry. I didn't notice you tunked it.
Hold on. I need to know if you're joking or not. Dude.
I don't think you could have any sort of inward suction with your booty.
Mason, do you really think he was sucking it through his booty hole? I need to know this. I mean, in absolute honesty, do you think that he was putting this up to his cheeks and trying to ingest it through his booty hole?
No. You could probably do edibles that way, though, I would assume. Not smoke, but...
Now I want to see Mason with some gummies. So it's like, it's about time to go and get high.
I'm not sure it would work with edibles.
I don't know how edibles work. I'm gonna be honest.
But if you were to get it in like an oil form, and take it rectally, then yes, it would work.
That would be intense.
Edibles, I think, have to be like broken down in order to
like digested.
And your rectum doesn't have
it doesn't digest
the process to break it down.
Yeah, it's like it won't break it down. Your rectum can absorb, but it can't break down and whatnot. And it's specifically like when the THC goes through like your digestive tract specifically. I think it's like your liver and whatnot. That's when it just catalyzes, and that's why your high is so much more intense. So
I see.
As someone like, yes, I've smoked. It's like I've smoked marijuana and I've ingested marijuana. I hate smoking. I don't mind edibles. Edibles are pretty good as long as you know how much THC is in there. Because like if I were to give you like, let's say I was going to give you like a gummy bear this big, I would tell you take off a foot and try that much.
Try a foot or try the whole thing without
Just
the foot?
eat the foot.
No, just eat the foot.
That
That
sounds
is
like a
more than-
lot of high.
I'm telling you right now that like as someone that like I haven't had I haven't had weed in a long time and whatnot, I would be good with just a foot. I'd be like, nope, I'm good. We're good. An entire gummy bear, Mason, I'm telling you, you would sweat till your arms fall. If you just be like, I am too high.
I'll take your word for it.
I imagine Mason as being the paranoid kind of high, where they get high and then they just think like, I think I hear the cops. Oh my gosh, they're coming to arrest me.
This sounds about right.
It's either Mason's gonna be that or he's gonna be the polar opposite of that. Not the giggly mess. He's just going to melt on the floor and just do nothing. Just like, bro, Mason, you okay? Like you just don't know how to process what's happening to your body.
That's. I have no idea.
So what this is still boiling down to is like we've gone over weed, but this was still all because you had discovered that you could still take stuff in through your butthole. And one of those was alcohol.
Yes.
So I want to know what led to this discovery. Was
I'm
it a dare?
so sorry, family. I was talking to my family about this, hoping that they would explain it to me.
Dad, what happened? I heard this thing. Some people say alcohol rectally. Can you tell me what that's about?
No, I was talking about like how people discover different kinds of drugs and like how to ingest them. That's how this whole train wreck started. And then my mom brought up that people put beer in their booty holes. She used different words, but
So we have mom to thank for this.
and then I came over here the next day to record that podcast.
Okay.
That's how this whole happened. It happened like the day before.
Okay. So
And she was warning me people die from it. So don't do it.
So yes, people die from it. Okay. Now, and I'll blanketly say that yes, it is more intense. Like you do get drunk faster going in through your rectum because your body has no way of filtering that. All right.
Right.
So there's all that. But there's a specific term for it. Mason, what do you think that term might be?
So does it have to be beer specifically?
No.
No?
It could be any alcohol.
Any alcohol?
Yes.
Does the term change based off alcohol?
No.
No.
Because I was going to say rum would be like... You know what?
Say
take
it.
that back.
Say it, please.
No,
Please.
no,
you have
no.
to say it now. You can't lead up into that and then just be like, no, never mind.
Well, it was the one time my filter wanted to work in my head, and you're telling me not to.
We don't give a damn. Mason.
Well, rum is made with fruit, right? So I was going to say sweet bum. Or fruit bum.
I was expecting something like rectal rumming or something. You made it cute.
I made it work appropriate.
Hey Tyler, I'm just telling you right now, I'm gonna go over like you want a sweet bum with me tonight.
I had a hard day at work
Hard
today.
pass.
I'm sorry, boss. I can't do it today. I did fruit bum last night. Not working.
I did too much fruit bumming.
What is whiskey made from?
If I remember, I think it's like a little like it's molasses and something. I think it's molasses. I can't really remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So it's honey, like honey bum.
That would be mead.
That
son.
would be mead.
That would be mead.
I don't. I'll take your word for it. I don't know
Okay.
what mead is.
But again, Mason, there's
Oh yeah, there's a
There's a term. So think of an action. Like if I wanted you to drink something like super fast and all at once, what do you think I would say?
chug
There we go.
or
No.
chug.
Okay. So now elaborate on what that could further be called.
Chugging cheeks.
Chugging cheeks. I love the way your brain works.
The upside down chug. Turn around chug.
It's called butt chugging.
That makes a lot more sense than any of the things I said.
So, yes, and let's put it this way. In college, that's usually when people, like, usually end of high school is when people kind of like, okay, they kind of figured out what butt chugging is. And then in college, they try it. Don't do it.
Don't butt chug.
I'm looking all at everyone in this camera. Do not butt chug. It's not worth it. I've done this. It's not worth it.
Well, there's a new thing I've learned about Stefan.
Butt chug.
I'm not gonna lie. I've put so many things up my butt.
You've done some sweet bum in your time.
I'm not necessarily hiding that fact. Yeah, it's like I've experimented a lot.
Oh, is that what they mean when they say they experimented in college? They put beer in their butt. They put beer in their booty hole.
I love the way that you think that it's only that.
Well, experiments try and fail sometimes, so I don't know what I meant by that. I'm sorry, Tyler, go ahead.
I'm a scientist of life. I just experiment all over the place.
No comment.
There we go. So, yeah, like
my hand is violently been eaten.
See, like I now fear that I've now opened up this wormhole within like your brain as far as the possibilities of people now like, oh well, okay, well it's butt chugging. I wonder what else you could put up your butt.
Yeah, there's a lot that sounds wrong with everything.
You're not wrong. There's a lot of things that should not go up your butt.
I would imagine
people
everything should not.
There's a lot of medical papers about stuff that has gone up butts that shouldn't have been up butts.
Oh yeah. Mason, did you know that a lot of people have gotten whole light bulbs stuck up their butt?
Stuck? Yes.
You think that once it goes up there, it can just come out?
Well, the pressure I thought would break it, and then.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh. Normally I say neat here, but I don't feel like that deserves a neat.
Mason, I'm not gonna lie to you. There are many medical cases where whole light bulbs are stuck up the butt and stay intact, and then people sit down and things go awry. All right.
So I imagine doctors facepalm a lot.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So
were they fluorescent?
I love that that's where your brain went.
Were they eco-friendly?
Mason.
Yes, Tyler. Hi. You're a good friend of mine. Let's shake hands.
Have you ever seen one of those fluorescent bulbs?
Which ones are the fluorescent ones? Are they the ones with the...
They're the ones
that
you
around?
see in the schools
that twirl?
that are 4 feet long.
Oh, that's not what I thought.
Do you really think a 4 foot long light bulb can fit all the way inside someone's ass?
Not with that attitude.
Yeah, he's got me there.
I finally got to... That's a Rick and Morty joke. Thank you all for coming out tonight. I'll be here all week. Don't look at my Google history after this. I need. So wait, what are the ones where it's glass, obviously, but it has the thing that twirls around and up, and they're supposed to be like eco-friendly light bulbs.
So those, I guess, technically are fluorescent light bulbs as well.
Oh, okay. Because that's what I was thinking.
But they're now starting to go away from those, and they're doing LED.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought those were supposed to be better for the environment and stuff. Are they not?
LED is more energy efficient and everything. That
It is more energy efficient, but as you know, it's also one of those where like when you go that route, the more computing power that people need, you have to go and do precious metals, which means you're mining, and it's an Ouroboros type situation. Oh God, I just gave you another word that you don't understand.
I don't know that word. Nope. It's like down the rabbit hole.
Let's not tell him and just let him stew on what it means.
I already forgot it. What was it? Say it again.
It's okay. We're good.
Is it Aurora Borealis?
Sure, Mason.
I don't know what that word means either, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Oh man, I freaking love it. Well, like I said, knowing that that's just where your brain kind of went with most of this stuff, that just it makes me too happy. Knowing that we've also invested 40 minutes just talking about that.
Don't eat anything into your butt. Don't do it. I just learned what that meant the other month. I don't know.
Why?
So change of subject.
Yeah.
As of recording right now, I am missing the Crunchyroll Awards.
Oh.
All right. Predictions as far as what you would like some of the categories that you would like to see certain anime to win, and then what you actually think might actually go through.
So probably the biggest one for like best villain, I want Askeladd from Vinland Saga to win.
Fair.
That's one of the ones I personally want. Prediction. I'm seeing it. In years past, there was the Yuri on Ice Awards, then the My Hero Aka Awards, then the My Hero Aka Awards. I'm expecting it to be the Demon Slayer Awards this year.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Because there was no Dr. Stone entry in that category, if I remember right.
Dr. Stone had a few things they were nominated for,
but I don't remember it specifically.
But it wasn't one of those things where like Dr. Stone overtook a lot of the categories.
No, I do. If I am remembering right, I do believe it was in Anime of the Year. I don't think it's gonna get it. I honestly think it's sad because I was listening to I listened to Kawaii Cast, which is the podcast that that you and
Candace and I run.
Yeah, and when you guys were talking about the Crunchyroll Awards, you were very afraid of it just being kind of what you were saying, like this year would be the Demon Slayer, year.
I hope it doesn't turn out that way. Mm-hmm. But I would not be surprised just because they're fan voted, and that's kind of how fan vote award works.
See, and that's one of those where I understand the pros and cons of having a fan voted one and then have it where it's technically based, so only people in the industry can go, and then having kind of a mix between the two. But there are a lot of times where I wish there were just separate categories of like, this is the fan realm and this is the technical side. So and it would be more of like a category of people that actually are animators, and they are artists. They are
that'd be pretty cool.
Screenwriters.
So it's like you'd have the People Choice Awards and the Oscars or Golden Globe Awards of anime.
Yeah, it's like it would have to be in between, because there are times when like, okay, like when we were saying the My Hero Aka Awards and whatnot, there were times when I'm like, this like having Deku be best boy for like 2 years. Not that he was nominated for 2 years, but I think he only got it for one.
He got it the second year, and I think it was kind of a gimme at that point.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, last year when they did it and they had Deku as the nominee, I felt Bakugo deserved to be the nominee over Deku.
Yeah, because it's something where when you're looking at, especially last season, where it wasn't, most of last season wasn't really focusing on Deku. Where like the first season of My Hero Aka, yes, focuses on Deku, but kind of since then,
He's not the focus.
He's not the focus. It's been everybody, even this year, where it kind of feels like it's kind of coming back to him. It's only just barely, where they're still exploring so many other characters. He's just sort of like, oh, he's kind of like the one that you recognize the most, of like, yeah, remember this guy? This is supposed to make sure that you can still have identifiable people in here, but let's show you all these other characters. Like even freaking today's episode that came out today.
I've not watched today's episode. I've now gotten into the habit of, just so I can, separate my time between everything. Mm-hmm. I just watch all my anime on Sunday.
I'm not going to give you any premise or any kind of thing like that, or any teasers or whatnot. All I will literally say is that it's still following the trend of Deku is part of it, and he is your connection to characters, but he is still not the focus. He really is not. And as someone that hasn't read the manga, I'm looking at this going like, one of the reasons why this anime is so intriguing is because you are not tired of any character because of overutilization. It's like, just as soon as some people kind of felt like, okay, we're getting too much into, they were getting the Superman syndrome with All Might, boom, he's taken out of the equation. And you already have the flaws that come with Deku and all this. So I love this show for that. And then when characters learn something, they still remember it, and it goes, it sticks with them. It's not like, I learned this valuable life lesson, and then they're making the same mistakes.
2 episodes later, they're doing the exact same shit.
Exactly. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why, like, not that this show is connected at all. It's one of the reasons why, as much as I love watching The Flash, I hate watching The Flash, because every season it's, oh, well, I need to hide this from everyone. And then at the end, okay, well, I'm going to come clean, and this is why I need to rely on you guys and trust you. And then something else happens. No, I need to hold this in. It can only be me, so you guys can't help me. It's like, moron, didn't you realize the last 3 times that all this stuff was going on? If you actually have your friends help you, this is no longer an issue?
Yeah. So, in your opinion, there would be 2 winners then? You'd have 2 best villains, fan, and I don't know what the other one would be called. I mean, industry, I guess?
Because that's the thing where it's like, when something is fan voted, or it's based off of a popular vote, there's a very high possibility that it's not like that. That's not what the it's an askewed rendering and whatnot. Kind of like, okay,
it leans towards a bias.
Yeah. It's like, oh, well, because this character is cute or whatnot. It's like, okay, well, does that mean that they were the best choice in this realm? Because it's like, oh yeah, best boy. It's not like it's cute and who's more popular. It's like best boy. Well, I mean, you could look at, like Demon Slayer and whatnot. Tanjiro, freaking great. I love him way more than I love Deku or literally anybody on My Hero, Academia.
So you're also saying that, like, part of not thinking about the entire show of My Hero Academia when you're thinking about the specific character for the nominee of best boy.
When it's a yearly based show, it needs to stay within that year.
That makes sense.
It's what happened. Like, just because you have, Deku on there this year or whatnot doesn't mean that his effect on everyone and his effect on the category should hold any weight from previous years. It should just be, no, if he's categorized in this year, what in this year merits him as being that, when you've got other shows that are, this is their first year. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, well, they have to prove it in this year. That means he should have to prove it also in this year.
Like,
that makes sense.
You have to take everything that happened within this season or this year rather than looking back at his whole story.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So and that, like I said, that's strictly from the popular vote side. Technical side is just something where I don't think the overwhelming masses should have any sort of influence on that. It's literally just like, no, when it comes to, but see, that's also one of the reasons why it can't be character specific.
Right.
It would have to be like categories where like you can't do a best boy from a technical standpoint, but you could do, like you could do score. You could do you could do animation as a whole as far as progressing everything. You could
That'd
do
be cool, too.
screenwriting. You can do, even you can do acting as well as like vocal performance.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that in a technical stance. But you can't do these I don't want to call them fluffy.
You can't do opinion based.
Yeah. So that's where I mean, like, I would really like it if there was, there's the People's Choice Awards, and then like we were saying, like the Oscars of anime. You can't do both of them, or you can't do like, you can't try to mix them all together and whatnot. It's
You
like,
couldn't
no.
have like specific categories that were fan, but other specific,
I
but
mean,
other categories that were.
you could, but the ones that weren't, that were supposed to be more technical, if you are going to allow fans to go and do that, it's still People's Choice.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you need to have two different award shows.
That makes
One
sense.
of them, and you can group them into the same like time frame as far as like, okay, for the next 2 hours, like first hour, People's Choice, second hour, like actual technical
Like
standpoint.
judges.
Yeah, you can go and do that, but
That's a good word.
my biggest thing is I would like to know what other people in the industry would sit there and go like, oh my gosh, like I want to know who they thought gave the best, like some of the premier vocal, vocal talents and whatnot, like who did really, really well, rather than, oh, best boy. It's like, personally, I don't care over best boy and whatnot. But I would really love to know who really kicked it into high gear as far as their vocal performance, or if any had to sing. I want to know that too.
Yeah, that one definitely seems like.
Yeah, like
It'd be
which
one of the harder
studio
ones.
actually pumped out an amazing story that took everyone by surprise. It's one of the reasons why, like when talking about the Oscars and whatnot, it's one of the reasons why there's so much light shown on, like a film like Parasite and whatnot.
Wait, are the Oscars coming out?
The
They're
Oscars
done.
just finished.
They're done.
Oh,
They finished like a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, it was last week, and that's one of the reasons. Like with the Oscars, that's all industry, so you can own like.
Is the Oscars all interesting? They don't have any fan. Anything?
That is nothing.
No,
nothing
the
fan.
fans don't have any vote in it. It's
Oh,
all
I didn't know that.
internally based.
Yeah, and the thing is that the only people that are allowed to vote in the Oscars, I believe, are actually accredited people in the like I think it's like the Screen Actors Guild, so SAG. But on top of that, if you have been nominated, or if you've actually won an Oscar, then you can also vote. But if you're nominated, you can't, and whatnot. So, like, if you've gotten the award before, you can actually vote. But if you haven't, no, you can't. And
I've
whatnot.
never been a fan of the Oscars, so I've never watched them.
It's
I knew the Anime Awards came close to around the time of the Oscars, but I've never actually watched either.
One of the reasons why the Oscars always have so much attention is because that is peers actually judging and weighing in on other peers. Okay, it's not just the critics and all that kind of stuff. It's what your peers thought and who they nominated. And most of the time, they're not nominating their own work. They're nominating work that they actually enjoyed. That usually falls within the realm of like what most people enjoy too. But there still are some bias that there are certain things that never go in there, where like there's what we see on the Oscars, but then there actually is a technical Oscars that goes on, that there are categories that you don't see during the televised version of it. So like you see things like best director, or best screenplay, or things like that.
Sure.
But you never get to go and see like best. Gosh, I'm kind of blanking out on some of them, but it's like best stage direction and things like that. Like those that still get a form of accreditation but aren't televised and whatnot. But then like there are some categories that people want, as far as like, okay, well, best motion capture performance still isn't on there, and yet
Best
so many
lighting.
mocap,
Right, right.
or like best stunt work still is not in there, and when you think of most of these movies, a good healthy supply of them are stunt related. Even when they're not action packed, they're still stunt oriented. So it's
Well, that's all I was going to say about when you were talking about best story. When we went to Bonsai in October, I took a little, like a list of shows to watch, and Demon Slayer was the #1 most recommended one. Like, so many people kept saying to go watch it. Still haven't, but it sounds good. People keep telling me, like, even not anime friends are like, you need to watch Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer is a fantastic. It's a fantastic anime in itself, but it's also a fantastic gateway anime of just like, hey,
is it?
people that aren't into anime normally, it's a good one to kind of show them and be like, all right, here's why you should.
I watched Goblin Slayer by mistake because I got Demon and Goblin mixed up. That was
Many
very
people.
different.
It's a very different show.
Very different.
Good in its own in its own respect. 'Cause
Right.
I actually enjoyed it.
Just not what everyone, not what's hot.
No.
Not what's on the buzz.
I have some criticisms about Goblin Slayer.
We talked about it a little bit when we went to
I'm not saying it's
what
bad.
was it?
It
think it was
has
Vegas.
its faults.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean that's one of those where it's really still encouraging as far as like when talking about anime, knowing that for so long it was this really closet type of like, okay, I kind of like it and you can't really show people and all that kind of stuff. And it was really hard to recommend stuff that people should watch because there
Right.
wasn't a lot of it. So it was like, oh, I don't really know what you're into. But now it's like, oh, okay, you're into this. You might want to go and check this anime out and whatnot. Like when you guys were telling me about Grand Blue and whatnot, you're like, look, you love scuba diving and you love insane humor. You're going to love this show. And you were doggone right.
Yeah.
Scuba diving's terrifying. I have been scuba diving.
I'm,
It's terrifying.
you should
Anyway,
watch the show,
please.
Mason.
You
You should watch this
I
show.
should watch the show. It's fantastic.
Is it?
It's so
I'm
good.
so scared.
It is. No, I'm gonna tell you right now. You will never have one bit of You will have no scary moments in this show.
Oh, okay. When I did go scuba diving, my breathing piece fell out.
The regulator.
Yeah, and the entire ocean flew toward my face. That was terrifying.
Mason, did you never learn how to recover your?
I did. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm not dead.
No, they just found him face up or face down at the top of the water at the end of the day.
I'm actually gonna write down Grand Blue on the list. I don't have my phone to mine. I'll do it after.
We'll definitely go and give you a list of some really good ones because there's a really good supply of intriguing anime this year. Like one that I've been having a really fun time that I wasn't really expecting was Bofuri.
Oh, that one,
It
man.
is.
Like I was explaining in the Discord channel, like I like that one, and there's also Infinite Dendrogram. They're both based on video games.
They are, but and they're
And don't get me wrong, I do like Infinite Dendrogram. It's not bad.
yeah,
I like Bofuri more.
yeah it's,
And the reason is like Infinite Dendrogram makes it almost like it's another isekai, but they tried to pull it away from the isekai aspect.
yeah.
Whereas Bofuri is like, this is a video game, this is what happens, like it
Yeah.
and so for me it's kind of nostalgic because I used to play a lot of MMOs.
It's that way on top of Infinite Dendrogram. I'm kind of watching it and I can't tell if they're getting confused about what they actually want to talk about, because there will be episodes that I'm watching and I'm sitting there going like, okay, how is this one connected to the previous one? Okay, it's not really connected, but it kind of is, and then it's just like there are so many times where I'm like, what are you guys trying to say here? Because I'm getting like, it's good, but I'm also kind of lost. Whereas Bofuri, it's something where not only is that intriguing, it's cute, but I will, like, if you all have not been watching it, the first like 3 or 4 episodes, like there's always a battle over in those episodes, and they are end of season quality battles. I mean, they are amazingly fluid. The animation is amazing. Like, I really want to go and talk to Candace about it, because I'm sitting here looking like, this is what mostly in like an anime season, people like production houses will save their budget so that way they can make it, a battle scene, just one battle scene, and they'll make it at the end of the season, and they'll make it really, really great. Whereas this one felt like, especially I think it was like episode 3, where they're fighting a like a kind of like a
where she's fighting the Hydra.
yeah, it's like she's fighting the Hydra and whatnot. It's something where that battle takes on for like 10 or 12 minutes, and it is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I don't think that's when Candace is watching though.
Yeah, I know. So I really wish she would, because it is like, in the technical aspect, it just seems so amazing.
I want a Nendoroid of Maple from Beaufry. Yeah. I really do, so bad. Which, personally, like, I'm kind of sad that they decided to make the Nendoroid of the girl from Infinite Dendrogram instead.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I want Maple.
I want Maple, but I also want syrup. Like, I want a plushie of syrup.
Same.
Which is just
right.
the fact that
It's just a turtle.
it's just a turtle. And honestly, it's a turtle that there probably already is a close enough like plushie from it, where like there's nothing uniquely characteristic of this turtle. But
It's like your basic ass turtle.
it is so good. And I'm just like, the fact that she was like, oh, syrup, and I'm like, of course, I love you. And even the it's like, we are Maple Tree Guild.
All right, I'm down.
I
sound like I'm down.
Yeah, I would encourage anyone, like, if you do like anime, and you do kind of like it's a nice fun anime, but at the same time, like, there doesn't seem to be like a high commitment to it, but it just sort of feels nice and it feels good. And I would definitely say that's a good one.
Feels good.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like
All right, I'm down.
it. Yeah.
I've had a frog in my throat for like 2 months now. I don't know when it's gonna leave.
That is just the Utah air quality.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So here in winter we get the heavy inversions, and then everyone just has gunk in their throat for like 4 months
Right.
straight.
Oh, that would make
Yeah.
more sense actually.
Crap breathing. It's what Utah's based off of.
I kind of doubt this, but have you guys been reading the manga of Attack on Titan?
No.
No, Candace has.
All right. I'll have to talk to
I think
Candace
she's
about
up
it.
to date, but she might be a little bit behind.
Yeah, I'm still like, I've never been the biggest manga reader, so it's
I
something
used to be,
Yeah.
and it's just it's gotten to the point where manga's expensive, you know, and I personally do not like reading off of a screen, so I can't really read off of a manga app.
Yeah, and that's more or less where I am. Where like, if you do have a Crunchyroll premium subscription, then you have manga in there as well.
Yeah.
Even so, like, I never utilize it because I hate reading off of a screen. I'm a very tactile type reader, so it's either audiobooks or get the real book for me.
I will read...
I'm at the point where I'm reading light novels, but I'll tend to read them while I donate plasma.
Yeah,
because it's like, I have the downtime. I can do that. So.
Exactly.
I get breaks at work, so I always bring a book. It's usually manga. I'm reading 7 Deadly Sins digitally, but that's kind of an exception because that's just so long, and I'm completely caught up as far as I know. But that show, like, I'm still reading just because I've made the commitment and I'm so far in it.
But you're not really that interested.
But yeah, I'm like, why am I reading this still?
You like I said, you still have that kind of like, okay, well, I'll soldier on. I'm telling you right now, I mean, I kind of hope that it's true of you at some point. When you get a little bit older, you care a whole lot less. So you just go like, if this is not gaining my interest, I don't care to read this or watch this or any
should.
like you're way more apt to telling yourself like no. It's one of the reasons why like I still have not seen Joker and I don't plan on it because it's just like I have no interest and I do not care.
I kind
Yeah.
of want to see Joker. I just haven't gotten the opportunity.
Yeah.
It's for me. It's like I don't want to go out of my way to see it.
That's yeah.
You know, but
That's how I am with most.
but if I
movies.
got the chance, I'd go check it out.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. It's just like you just sort of figure out like, this is what I'll divulge time into, and then other you're like other stuff. You're like, nah, not good. I don't give a damn. So
Yeah. That's like with anime. You know, I have the hard 3-episode rule basically.
yup.
You know, although with the current season format, the seasonal format, you can almost cut it down to 2-episode rule.
Yeah.
In all honestly, but like after 3 episodes, if it's not holding your attention, drop it.
Yeah. And that's usually a pretty good thing to go by. So usually like I'll give it about that same kind of like 3 episodes, 4 if I think it might have a chance, you know, but then I'll just drop it. But there's so many out over there that I never would have started watching Somali if it weren't for you guys just telling me like you need to watch, like calling me out in episodes of your podcast.
Oh man,
like,
man,
you need to watch it.
So Somali, woo!
I'm trying my best not to cry and not to spill over all this, but it's
so adorable and I love it. I can absolutely see it making everyone bawl.
I'm afraid of whatever the last episode is going to be like. You guys are going to make me cry.
Absolutely. I saw it in like the 2nd episode. I was like, okay, people are going to cry.
What is Somalia about? Why is there all this crying?
Go check it out.
Well, yeah, it's like
Okay.
we'll intrigue, we'll pique your interest after this and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're coming up over on time and whatnot, but
No.
yeah, that's what happens.
No.
That's what happens. Hey,
I want to keep hanging out.
if people
We
want
can
longer
still hang
episodes-
out. It's just the episode can only run so long.
Exactly. There you go. So that's what happens. So
Don't wanna.
again, if you guys want us going and talking about like more anime stuff and whatnot,
or drugs.
yeah,
Or drugs.
anime
So,
or drugs.
okay, so just throwing it out there, like if there's anyone in a state where it's legal, like marijuana subscription box, just throwing the idea out there, guys.
I'm not gonna say that they don't exist because they definitely do.
Oh, they do?
They do.
It's so cool.
Back in my hometown, people have actually like showed me like, dude, delivery weed, it's amazing. All right, I'm telling you, just like $5 a month, and you get like, it's decent, bud. It's not great. Yeah, like I know my accent well, yeah, but yeah, it's like it is a thing. So
I feel like we really discovered the meaning of life here today in this podcast.
I would
Drugs
and anime.
disagree.
Anime, drugs, not putting stuff up your butt. Three rules.
I'm gonna take that last one as a personal preference. You know, maybe some people like that sort of shit.
Okay, maybe be careful. Maybe that's the word I should use.
Yeah.
Be careful with the booty.
Yeah.
Don't damage goods.
Be careful with your booty hole. There we go. So
Yay.
yeah, thank you guys for watching and listening this episode. Of course, go ahead and check it out over on Spotify, over on Google Podcasts, specifically kind of something with Google Podcasts. If you're using Google Play Music, I would encourage you to download the Google Podcast app because they're going to kind of like limit most updates as far as Google Play. So just they made another application. Go over to Google Podcasts. Episodes show up a whole lot faster there. So yeah.
So remember back in the day when everyone was having like a membership card and everything, and now everyone so you were vying like, oh well, I don't use this membership card anymore, and you know is vying for wallet space. Nowadays, I feel like it's the same thing but with apps. Like your apps are vying for Memory
actually
space.
it's something where like I'm one of those weird people that actually like I have WhatsApp and I don't even use it really, except for like international friends and whatnot. So like all the time it's just sitting there like, what do I actually need? I don't need this anymore. You know?
Right.
And then you can kind of tell when most people don't use that app anymore because it gets really slow and whatnot. So yeah, it's a thing. But yeah, so go and check that out there. Of course, you can see all of our stuff over on thecrackedbrain.com. And definitely, I think on Wednesday of this coming week, so as this episode drops, we will have our first new shirt. Will actually hit our store. Like all the tests have now finally done and whatnot. But yeah, so I hope you guys really.
Which
like
one
that
is it?
Is the one I've seen?
It's the Vermont shirt.
Yes, I love that one.
So yeah, this month is Vermont. Next month is our Jackalope shirt, and then the one after that comes around a very characteristic Hymenoptera insect and whatnot. So yeah, someone here coined the phrase.
I'm not gonna guess me, so gonna be one of these two.
Yeah, right.
Guessing Tyler.
It's
Guessing
maybe,
Stefan.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay.
We'll see. So yeah, definitely go and check that out this Wednesday, and more things will be added in the very near future. So until next time, guys, we will check y'all out later.
Goodbye,
Bye.
friends. I'll be lonely until next week.
You-
Goodbye.
You'll be lonely until next week. I'm scared.